Chapter 2. Eliza peeked around the corner of a sofa so well loved the floral print had faded to an indistinct green and pink blur. The flickering blue glow that illuminated the small lounge reached around her. Little zaps crackled across her snout like static electricity. Eliza snatched her head back, huddling behind the stout safety of the settee. When more shouts filled the room, she tucked her head under her wing, curling into a tight ball. The monsters couldn't get her if she stayed hidden, but once the screaming stopped, she'd chomp 'em all. After the shouts did finally stop, Eliza stretched her neck up again, peering out of one eye. An enormous spider crawled across the television, casting an odd, wriggly shadow over the wall. The bug must have caused the zap. And that wasn't so bad. Spiders were no problem for a big girl. Eliza stretched one wing out and flicked the critter off the screen, and then settled her chin on the sofa to study the nighttime scene in the film. The darkness made it hard to follow. All the characters wore black that merged with the shadows, which was stupid. If Eliza set out to hunt monsters, she'd wear bright orange to scare the bloomin' things back into the ground. When a monster pulled a lamppost out of the floor, an old woman ran to her car, and the monster grabbed her. Eliza jerked back to her spot behind the sofa, shaking so hard the furniture rumbled across the wooden floors. Just as the zombies started to munch on the poor dear's brain, the chandelier flicked on, and Violet shuffled in. Fear flashed over Eliza. She was safe in her hiding place, but the monsters could see Violet. She had to be brave and warn Auntie. Eliza poked her tip of her snout out from behind the furniture. "Hide, or they'll get your brains!" Violet snapped the TV off. "I told you not to watch the Halloween Film Festival." Eliza lifted her wing enough to peek at her aunt. Faded pink flannel pajamas hung off Violet. Grey hair was plastered to one side of her face and stood straight up on the other. She looked tired. Guilt twinged Eliza that she'd woken her auntie. "Sorry, but the TV man said it was too good to miss." Violet shuffled over to the worn sofa. "That's called advertising. They're just trying to sell you something." "So they're bad?" Not bad, just different priorities. Sensitive golden children like you should not be watching all that gore. It's not good for you." Violet settled on the couch and patted the seat next to her. Eliza's claws scraped against the floorboards as she crawled out from behind the furniture. "But I know about zombie apocalypse now, so I can protect you. That's good, right? Your brains are safe now that I've got my big grown-up girl pants on." Violet picked up the crocheted afghan that had fallen on the floor. "Eliza, it's just a story, a make-believe." Eliza wasn't sure why her aunt didn't believe there were monsters out to get them. They were on the TV a minute ago. "You said I was supposed to watch the news so I know what's going on in the world." "It's not the news." Eliza hopped up on the couch and sat upright so her eyes were level with her aunt. "It's 11 o'clock. That's news time." Violet stroked one of Eliza's ear fins. "Not today, honey. They changed the schedule. Trust me, that zombie stuff is only a trashy film. It's not real. Now, you must get ready for sleeping. You've stayed up well past your bedtime." Eliza shook her head, rattling the layers of beads wrapped around her sinewy neck. But I'm not tired. Can I bake some biscuits?" "How about we do that in the morning? It's late, and you still need to get washed. Can I at least have a story?" "If you're quick, one short story, then straight to sleep." "Righty-ho! I'll be super quick!" Eliza leapt off the sofa and scampered down the hall that led from the flat she shared with her aunt on one side of the old building to the mill's foyer. The further she got from their flat, the darker the hall got. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. Deep shadows filled the corners. Eliza opened the door to the stairs and flicked on the lights. The tiny bulb did little to illuminate the long, dusty flight. Eliza crept to the first tread. Paint peeled off the walls in large flakes like dandruff. Grandfather would be so ashamed of the state of this place. It used to be so elegant, but at least there were no zombies here. She went to the other set of stairs and started down to the mechanical room. At the landing, she peered around the dark corner towards the warehouse and steam engine. Violet knew most things, but she could be wrong about those zombies. It didn't hurt to be careful. Eliza walked very quickly across the wide-open room. It wasn't a run. A mature golden girl wouldn't run from zombies. The sound of crashing water and the creak of old wood filled her ears as soon as she opened the door to the water wheel. In the olden days, everything in the mill was water-powered, but the wheel had been taken out when Grandfather installed the steam engine. This room had been left to rot, so Eliza repurposed it as her own most excellent swimming bath. She turned on all the lights and then peered into every corner to check there were no zombies. Once she was sure she wouldn't be attacked, Eliza rubbed a bar of cedar and lime-scented soap over the bristles of a roller brush Father had installed on the wall. He'd seen local farmers putting one out for his cattle. Eliza knew she wasn't a cow, but golden children were different to pink children. For one, she was stronger and smarter and could toast things with her breath. Eliza shuggled under the brush and got her back soapy, but then had to stand sideways and do a few awkward flutters to run the brush along her wing without tearing holes. Shame her auntie couldn't come down and help her get washed. That felt amazing. But Violet's arthritis troubled her so much she'd not managed the steps in years. Once Eliza had a good lather on all her parts, she dived into the frothing water and bit back the naughty words she wanted to shout. It was much colder than yesterday. Normally, the river gurgles relaxed her. Often she would stay submerged in the bubbling water for hours, just enjoying the feel of the brisk stream over her scales. Tonight, she twitched at every noise. Suddenly, there was a loud thump. Eliza jerked her head out of the water, craning her neck to see what had made the noise. Terror filled her belly. She was all alone down here. Something much too big to be a mouse scampered across the floor. Eliza spread her wings and launched herself out of the pool, sprinting up the stairs to the safety of the flat and her auntie.